Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing, of course, it's January, so my hashtag is Mermaiduary. So I'm going to be working on a mermaid. This specific mermaid is from Myka Jelina. It's one of her mini kits. It is dubbed Sophia Lily. I will leave all the links, of course, down below where you can get this. Myka Jelina had a big sale on her Etsy store a while back. At the time that I purchased everything, it was all 50% off, and I absolutely love her artwork, so I made sure to snag a few of them, and I kept in mind that I was doing mermaids, so I grabbed a few of her mermaid pictures. Last week, I know it was 25% off, and when I looked today, they were no longer on sale, but even paying full price for her images, I would personally, because I love her artwork. So this is what we're going to be working on today. I am going to be using Prismacolors. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to chat with you guys about a few things. I'm going to start, and all the colors that I use will be down in the description. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave it down in the comment section, and I will try my best to answer your questions. And you guys know that if you guys have been following me for a while, that I love putting purple in the skin. Like I always have some kind of purple in my skin. So of course I'm going to start out with lavender. Now the colors that I'm going to be using is lavender. I got Sienna brown. I have mineral orange, beige sienna, nectar. I didn't use that color. Where's my other ones? I got peach, light peach, and then grade lavender. So these are the colors that I'm going to be using. I don't even know how this pink color got out there, but we're going to save it because I might be able to use that later for something else that I have in mind. Okay, so I am just going to start this off. Let me grab my little sharpener bin over here. So this way, if I need to sharpen some pencils, I can. Put that up there. Okay. Sorry, I guess, again, I guess I should have been more organized, but so I don't know how it is by you guys. It's pretty cold here. I hardly ever wear long sleeves unless it's a hoodie. Today I needed to put long sleeves on. So I've been on this, let me zoom you guys in a little bit so you can see kind of what I'm doing. I've been on this kick lately of self-discovery. So I take medication for depression. I take medication for anxiety. And I also take medication for my bipolar, for my manic episodes mainly. And I was sitting there and I've been thinking about it, and I've been doing this now for a couple of months. But I've been thinking about it, and I kind of said to myself, like, am I getting the full benefits of all this medication if I'm not doing anything to help myself? I found that when I got in my depressed state, I just kind of wanted to stay in my room, curled up in bed. I have blackout curtains in my room, so those would always stay closed. It was just one of those things that if I felt dark, I wanted to be in the dark. So I started telling myself that I really got to work on me. Like I have to work on me or I'm never going to get better. Although the medicine helps, I still have my ups and downs, of course. Anybody that's on medication, of course, they have their ups and downs too. But I feel like I'm taking all this medication and I'm doing nothing to help myself. So I'm on this path of finding myself. And with that, I realized that nature plays a huge part of it. Nature is all around us. But again, going back to sitting in the dark when I'm depressed, if I push myself and I get my butt out of that dark room and I go out and I enjoy a little bit of sunshine, I mean, it can just be a little bit, that it kind of My mind is telling me that I want to be in the dark, but when I get out in that sunshine, it kind of brings me to that place like, first off, I don't want to be there. I just don't. Like, that's just how I feel. I don't want to be there. But after a while, it's one of those, I can see that there's brightness in the world. There's, different things that can help me. So that's one of the things that I've been kind of focusing on, is just getting more in touch with the nature around me that can help me. I've also been, and you guys can laugh at me if you want, and that's okay, because this is just my journey. I've also been following the phases of the moon, because I know that there's a lot of, I shouldn't say I know. I feel like that has a lot to do with a person's self, how we feel sometimes, or what the actions are, kind of like the astrology part of it. And so that's something that I've really been kind of focusing on, just to see. I mean, at this point, hey, I'll take anything that's going to help, because I absolutely hate how I feel, and not only that, I've been battling a lot of things for about a year now. And in that battle and in those struggles, a lot of changes in my body has happened. My hair is about a third of what it was thinner. Like, it's super thin now. And matter of fact, Ricky said something about it the other day. He's like, wow, he's like, your hair used to be so thick. And I didn't know whether to punch him or just ignore him. And I said, well, yeah, I know. The medication they have me on made me gain so much weight. So then, there's that self-confidence that's not there. So that's something that I need to work on. Like, and I exercise. I have a treadmill and I use that, but it's still just difficult. It causes the depression to be higher. It causes my mindset to be a little bit different. So this journey that I'm on, I'm trying to get over how I feel about me and just embrace how I am. And I think by doing that, the changes will become more natural, and it wouldn't feel like a chore or something that I have to do. It then becomes something that is a routine in my life. But I want to read you guys something. I told you guys I've been into this whole moon thing. And so on December the 27th, let me sharpen this pencil. On December the 27th, the waxing moon started. And for those of you who don't know, the full moon is going to be tomorrow, which is the 10th, because today's the 9th. So the full moon starts on the 10th. And what I found really interesting was, let me read this to you guys really quick. Oh, I want to show you guys my little seahorse here. One of my subscribers, but one of my very dear friends, got me this as a Christmas gift, and she has one too. And every time I look at it, it reminds me of her. And she's one of those people who give me a kick in the butt when I'm feeling down, and she's like, nope, 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 you can't be doing this, and she kind of gets me going. But so with the moon, I looked up the waxing moon and what it represents, and it's a goddess symbol that represents the maiden. It is the symbol of the spiritual aspects of femininity, such as intuition, psychic abilities, creativity, and wisdom. The maiden, symbolized by the waxing moon, represents purity, youthfulness, and enchantment. And so that is something, when I read that, it kind of put me in that place like, okay, well, I have been lately, I have been really in the mood to be creative, really in the mood to try different things. And I don't know if that has something to do with it, but to me, if I kind of follow those lines and maybe, I don't want to say take prompts from, but just get in that habit of, okay, well, you know what? Maybe this is what Mother Nature intended for me. And, different religions feel different ways. And I'm not saying that this is a religion. I'm just saying that this is something that I believe is helping me through some of my stuff. And it's kind of eye-opening. Let's just say it's eye-opening that, okay, let me try putting these things together, and whether it's right, whether it's wrong, no matter what it is, it comes to a point where I feel like whatever helps me, I'm going with. That's it. If it helps, I'm doing it. Period. I don't care what anybody says. So yeah, that's just something that I wanted to share with you guys. And I'd love to, if you have mental health issues and you have things that you are discovering helps you or doesn't help you, I would love to hear how you guys cope with things or tricks that you guys have found. Now, you guys know, if you guys have watched my channel, you guys know that, first off, I like using tons of pencils on my skin. But not only that, I never use a blender. You guys will hardly ever, ever, ever see me use a blender. And when I color, I always color over what I've already colored to just kind of blend as I go. What is this? Beige Sienna. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. Now I'm going to try not to make this video like super long. And you guys know that I like putting on at least 2 layers. If I can get on 3, that's even better if I think I need it. But I do like putting on at least 3 layers. So what I might do is just put down these base layers here. Fast forward me doing that, that second plus layers. So this way you guys are not bored out of your minds. Oh, I wanted to show you guys. I'm so excited. Let me show you guys what the pie is starting to look like. Because when I did it the other day, look at that pie and how many slices we got so far. It is so cool. I was so excited to see how many people have already joined in and have completed their pictures. I was just like, oh my God. I'm like, that makes me happy. And I thank every single one of you who have been joining in and who have been posting your pictures or sending them to us. I know that I very much appreciate it, and I know the other girls do too. Matter of fact, the other day, one of them was like, wow, I can't believe that, that many people already have done it. And, it's just something that's really exciting. I don't know if I put this orangey color in. Oh, yeah, I did. It just needs a little bit more down here. But yeah, so thank you to all of you who are participating. It really does mean a lot. And all of your pictures are so pretty. I try to check Instagram before I go to bed every night. I try to check it and see what's going on, if there's any new ones, and if there is, I normally, because I check it when I'm on my phone. So if there's any new ones, what I tend to do is I'll go ahead and add them to the wheel, since the wheel's on my phone. And then in the mornings, I'll go and I'll add them to my list. And I'm sorry for turning my paper, you guys. I still haven't, I've been trying to teach myself not to do that. But yeah, that's still not happening. I just feel funny, like when my hand's like this coloring, I can't do it. I had the boys, Zayden, he came home from school sick today. I had Blaze and Xander home from school yesterday. There's this stomach flu stuff going around, and when it started with Xander, I just thought that it was because of what he has. He was talking about how his stomach hurt, and I just thought that it was part of, what we've been battling with him. But nope, then Blaze got sick, and then Zayden, and I'm like, oh, good God. So I've been trying to like steer clear of them because I do not want to get sick at all. Well, right now I'm just taking this grade lavender and I'm using that as a blender to just kind of blend in some of that stuff that I already did. And I'm not pressing very hard on it. I'm just lightly blending everything. I find that the grade lavender in skin is a really nice buffer. Well, at least the skin that I do. And then when I do put on my second layer, because I told you guys that I'm going to kind of speed it up a little bit. When I do put on my second layer, I guess I could zoom you guys back in a little bit more. Sorry. I don't use that mineral orange. I only use it in the beginning because I feel like it gives you that nice tannish undertone. And that's what I'm kind of going for her. I don't use a lot. I don't use the orange in every skin tone that I do. But when I do use it, that's what it's intended for, to just give a nice tan kind of feel. I'm hoping to get more than just the skin done today, but we'll see. Even if it's just the skin, that's fine. The rest goes relatively, well, I hope it goes relatively easily. Hoping. So I'm thinking about this little lantern here. I've been staring at it for a couple of days now. I have this picture up on my computer and it just kind of sits there so I can look at it and kind of plan out in my head what I want to do. But this little lantern, I don't think it like just to be a lantern. When I look at this picture, I envision her because she has all these crystals and stuff, like this underwater crystal healer, whatever, little girl, this little mermaid. And I feel like with like her tail and her little skirt and her shirt, she's so young and she's trying to grow into her adulthood, her mermaid adulthood. And that's why she has a shirt instead of just the mermaid booby covers as most of them do. And I feel like she just has the little skirts until, she develops more into her adulthood, and that you can see, how her tail melts into her. A lot of the mermaids, you can see like their buttocks very well, and it's just more fitting. So that's what I envision when I look at this picture. So with that, I was thinking, since she's this like little crystal girl and she's all magical and she's waiting to become an adult mermaid, I think I'm going to make like I'm going to try, you guys know I can't draw, but I'm going to draw in like a little plant that fills up this center square here, this like magical healing plant, is my plan. We'll see. All right, so that's going to be the first layer. I'm going to go ahead and do the second layer. So I'm going to fast forward you guys through this. See you guys in a bit. So now that all of that is done, we are going to come back, and I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but I only did 2 layers. And the reason that I just did the 2 layers is because once I start coloring everything else in, I can see where I need to darken. I don't want to go too dark too soon because then I can't really make it lighter. So sorry if I'm going to shake you guys. Okay, so the next thing that I thought of, like I said, I thought this was just, you know, a young mermaid coming into her adulthood. So I decided to make her shirt and her tail and her skirt all the same color. And the colors that I picked out for this, I have 5. From dark to light, because you guys know that's how I like to color. What is this? Cobalt Turquoise 105. Aquamarine 905. Light Aqua, which is 992. Light green, which is 920, and I'm not sure about this one yet, the gray green light, which is 289. So that's the colors that I'm going to start with. So I'm going to go ahead and start up here on her shirt, work my way down, and of course, let me sharpen this a little bit real quick, just so I have a point on it. There we go. I'm always going to go dark to light. You guys know that. You've been with me long enough, then you guys know that's how I color. Well, the majority of the time, that's how I color. So we'll do both of her shirt sleeves at the same time. Try to cut down on a little bit of time here. I find that I am one of those people, like, when I'm coloring flowers, or like I did a picture in Twilight Garden where I was coloring in like berries. I'm a one section at a time kind of person. I'll do like flower petals, one petal at a time. And I know that it takes longer. I know that by coloring, big sections, or all the same thing, all the same time, that it gets done a lot quicker. It's just not my style. So I kind of color slower than I probably could. So I don't know if you guys can see here, like where they kind of bump up. That's the parts that I'm going to leave super light, where the creases kind of make the fabric look like it's raised. And I threw this green in here, not that it's in like this turquoise blue family, but I threw this green in there because I thought it was a nice contrast to the blues. Okay, let me go back to this dark one here. I want to start darkening up those spots where it kind of dips in. And Myka Jelina has done a lot of the work for you with her grayscale and how she does her grayscale, which I really enjoy the way that she does it. And I've been thinking, this turquoise aqua kind of palette, about the shell and how I want to go about doing it. I do have a couple ideas in mind. I just have to sort out the colors in my head because I know what I'm envisioning. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to get that portrayed on the picture, but we'll see. We will see. Okay, so let's go in on her shirt now. And this collar area, I'm not sure if I want to color it the same color, because if you can see around each one of these gemstones, there's like the little binding. And so in my eyes, that's like, the sea kelp, like the algae, the kelp that's growing onto, on the bottom, that's kind of flowy, one of the plants. And so that in my head is what all that's done in. So of course that's going to be a green kind of color, but the collar, I'm not sure if I want to make that a part of the shirt or if I want to do that in like the kelpy stuff too. So that might just have to sit for a little bit while I think about it. I'll have that dark one back. I'm going to come in and darken around these little gemstones here. Okay. Do you guys ever, like, when you look at a picture, be like, okay, this is how I see it, like, and you make up that little story in your head, and that story kind of guide you what you're going to do, where your colors are going to go. I tend to do that a lot because there's so many times that I can look at a picture and you get that like, oh, I don't know what color to color this, and you just get that frustration feeling, and especially when you start coloring it with the mindset like that and you're like, oh, I wish I would have picked different colors. And I think that's part of the reason why I try to make up a story as I go. So this way I can kind of avoid that. Oh. Oh, I knew that was going to fall. God bless it. Okay, sorry guys. I seen like an avalanche thing happening over here, and I just wanted to grab everything before it totally fell. I have in my art room here, it was overtaken by the kids for a while, and I'm trying to slowly get it back. I still have some of their Christmas gifts in here, and like they just pile it all up. I have a desk all the way at the other end that my gaming monitor's on, where my PlayStation 4 is, and they just love to pile that up with stuff all the time. And I was looking over there, like I seen some of their stuff like taking a nosedive, and I'm like, oh man. So I wanted to take care of that. Okay, I am going to come in with this gray-green light there just to make that a little bit lighter. We are going to rinse and repeat. I need to place an order with Dick Blick soon for some of my pencils. Like after this picture, after I do my last touch-up, my light peach will be going to its final resting place. Luckily though, I do have a backup of that one. I have my little notebook that I keep inside my traveler's notebook. I have a little one that I put in there where I keep all my I have to get pencils because they're all different brands, you know. And I've been meaning to place an order, and I just haven't got there yet. And I kind of want to make like this side lighter, only because, and I thought about putting like a glow over there, but I don't think the glow from the lantern is really gonna hit there, but I am going to kind of put a glow down here. But I'm kind of making that lighter because I feel like it would kind of light that area up a little bit. Where that pencil at again? Kind of want to bring, nope, the next one. Okay. Coloring fabric is something that I do enjoy doing. Where I have issues, and I don't know about you guys, where I have issues is when you have like the big open spots like the shirt. It's kind of like, okay, now where do I put the highlights? Where is, you know, with this picture though, I really didn't have that problem too much just because I knew where I was going to have my light area. Okay, so let's move down here to her little skirt. And it's the same way, you know, you have your curves where they go in. So you kind of want to go darker where it dips down. And then where it seems like it rolls over like this, that's when you want to leave it a little bit lighter. I always forget like the underneath bits until I take a picture and I'm like, oh, okay, this is being, you know, this is ready to post. And then I realized, oh, I didn't do the underneath of that. And I'm so bad about that. It's not until after I take the picture that I'm like, ooh, I missed that and I missed that. So I'm kind of leaving those bumped up areas alone with this dark. I am going over all these creases though with the dark pencil just to kind of cover up that black line. Okay, let's darken up these underneath parts that I just got done saying I forget. Okay. And then this is where, when I get to my second darkest color, that's when I start putting just a little bit on those raised parts. Start giving it just a little bit of dimension, but not enough to make it look like it's going down, if that makes sense to you guys at all. I think that's the hardest thing when I am filming. Well, I guess the hardest thing like that I first had to overcome is talking to myself. But that wasn't too bad, especially when I started meeting some of you guys in the community, because it was one of those things like I can picture you guys and I didn't feel like I was talking to myself. I felt then like I was talking to you guys. So I overcame that pretty quickly. Go ahead and color that all in down there. We're going to say that's part of her tail there. Okay. So, then the next hardest part that I had was, are you guys getting what I'm saying? Like, that's always my biggest concern, because what sounds good in my head is how I tell myself that it goes, you know? Like, we all have our things of how we remember things or how we do things. I'm going to take this second darkest color and just do this outside edge. So yeah, it's always a little harder for me to figure out if I'm relaying the message that I'm actually trying to send. But so many people have wrote to me, emailed me, things like that, and showed me pictures of, things that they followed that I did, and they turned out beautifully. So I'm going to assume that, well, it's not as bad as I think that it is. Now, I don't know how much of this I'm going to get done tonight, and the reason for that is it is almost 4 a.m. But this is the best time for me to color, especially with Xander being sick all the time. And then Ricky sleeps during the day, and so that's like the perfect opportunity for me to get housework done. So I do all that, and then I realize, oh man, the kids are going to be coming home from school. So by that time, they come home, we got to do homework help, and then I got to cook dinner. And I really don't get a lot of time till he leaves for work, and I finally get the kids to bed, and I'm like, okay, well, I got some me time. And then that's when I decide to start recording or to organize my planner of things that I want to do. So whenever I record, it's super late. I should say early in the morning, I guess, for me. And so that's why sometimes you'll find that I'm talking about, oh, well, tonight this, and then, the video don't come out until the next day. Well, that is why. Okay. Believe it or not, we're almost done with this skirt. And if you noticed on her face, like I didn't do her blush. I didn't do her eyeshadow. I didn't do any of that stuff because I know that I might have to jump back up there. So that's why she's kind of plain Jane, not diva'd up. Trying to blend as I go here. Okay, and then the final color. And now I don't really want to blend it too much with this color. Like I want to go into that green that I put down. But that's about it, because if I start going over the color too much, it starts making it really like, I don't know if you've ever went over anything with your white Prisma. I do that a lot. Like I do white or my cream a lot. But when you go over it, it kind of loses that bright effect sometimes. And when that happens, it just becomes kind of like, I don't know, foggy on top, I guess is the best way to put it. I'm not sure. Okay, before I get down here to this tail though, I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do to her eyes. Now I'm pulling out these, they are At You Spica. They're by Copic. So I'm going to be using these because they're super shiny. So the three colors that I picked out were Buttermilk, Garnet, and Gold are the three colors that I'm going to use. But this is what I plan on doing her eyes with, because as I said before, every mermaid needs to have some sparkle in her life. So I went Garnet, and now I'm using the Gold. Then I'm going to go in with this Buttermilk. Okay, so that's one eye. Let's do the other one real quick. Even though this one I think I should have done first, but hey, I always do that. You guys know that. Okay, and then we're going to go in with the lightest one here. And then I picked out this black and the clear. So that's what I'm going to do the innies with. Normally, like I do it with the fine liner or something like that. This time I decided that I want her to be sparkly. Down, so always have like a scrap piece of paper that you can kind of clean it off if this is what you choose to do. And then I'll go back in and add the highlights and things like that. But I mean, I don't know if you guys can see the sparkle. Like these pens are so super sparkly. And if you don't have those, use some gel pens if you want. I just wanted to give her a little bit of sparkle to her life. Okay, so I'm going to jump down to the bottom of her tail right now, and we're going to do that similarly to how we did the skirt. Is this my darkest? Yeah. Okay. I can hear the dogs downstairs whining a little bit. They probably want to go outside because they still hear me up here. They only, they hold it really well all night long unless they hear me. If they hear me, it's like, Mom, take me out. I want to go out. Then they just go out there and they screw around anyway. It's not like it takes them forever to actually do anything. Like they just want to go out there and play. They don't realize what time it is and people are sleeping. So here they are roughhousing out there and getting loud. And so, yeah, normally like I'll take them out real quick and then drag their butts in, literally. Have to drag them in. And if you guys are never sure what the inside, like the inside like grooves or the outside humps are, you just have to kind of, especially when it's grayscale, you can see where it's really dark. But like if you look at it, you can see like down here where it kind of goes under or over. And the over is when you're going to do your highlight. The under is when it's going to be darker. At least that's how I look at it, that it makes the most sense to me. I need to sharpen this pencil again, but I'll do it in a minute. I just want to get this first layer put down. Okay. So from here, like I said, we're just going to pretty much do it like we did that skirt. I'm going to go dark to light, blending as we go, of course. And look, I missed all of those underneath parts, but that's okay. I'll get them. This pencil needs to be sharpened. Hopefully I'm in frame when I'm doing this. Sorry, guys. I normally, that's why I wear my glasses when I record, so this way I can see my screen. But when I'm wearing my glasses, I get like this horrible glare going on. Why didn't I do that one? So when I color, sometimes I take them, well, normally I take them off because I can just see so much better. And so when I look over at my computer screen to see if you guys can see what the heck I'm doing, I can't always focus, like I'm squinting. And I'm like, God, can they even see this? And so then I forget sometimes to actually look over there. I jump over here to this part. Sorry if I'm getting quiet on you guys. This part right here was kind of throwing me off a bit of what was an innie and what was an outie. And you guys know, don't take my verbiage as proper, because I just say what my mind views it as. So I know that that is over. See, this is where it gets kind of complicated, because it's like this is an over and that's part of an under and part of an over. But it's okay. We're going to make this work. And in the end, like once you start adding all the colors, it just makes more sense. And then when you go back for your second pass with your colors, you can be like, okay, I need to make that a little bit darker, or I need to not even touch that, leave it the way that it is and make the stuff around it a little bit darker. I think that's why I jump around a lot. Is because I'm like, okay, I want to make sure that I'm going to nail this before I do this, because otherwise I'm going to get aggravated, and I might have to change up what I'm going to do with the different part. Originally, when I first started looking at her, I was going to do her outfit purple. I always wanted her tail and her fin here. I've always wanted it from the very first time I saw it this color, like the aquamarine, turquoisey, teal, whatever color you want to call this. So then from there, I had to decide what I was going to do with all her other stuff. And I think that's what a lot of us do. You know, we take that focal point and we're like, okay, like I'm set. This is what color I'm going to do this. I don't care what anybody says. This is what I'm doing. And the rest of it is where we get stumped. And then we're really thinking like, okay, well, what colors are going to go with that? And that's like with the shell here. I'm like, I personally know what I like this color to be with, but is that the color that I want to do? Because it's going to, I don't want it to be too dark, because when it comes to like aquamarines and turquoises and things like that, I think that they look best when they're around kind of like neutral, earthy kind of colors, you know? Like I would love to have like in my dining room, to have one wall that was like, you know, a turquoise kind of color to go with my like wood tables and my wood cabinets, like my big china cabinet, things like that. Just because I think that that one bright color would bring out the color of the wood. And that's just in my mind. I don't know. That's just what I personally like. So that's kind of what I want to do with the shells. And then I'm not saying making them look wood. But I want to kind of keep that like real earthy, like a brown or an orange kind of color to it. And I think I know what I'm going to do. I'm just picking out the colors, the actual colors that I want to use. Trying to really make sure I go over these black lines there. So this way they're all covered up. Where's my brush at? Okay. And again, you guys, I'm so sorry. That's wrong color. So sorry for always turning this picture. I know it must be dizzying at times. I mean, there's some people that can color a picture and not turn it at all. I am not one of those people. Never have been. Tried. Nope, I failed a lot. So I just stick to what I know and what works for me, and go from there. Okay, I'm just redefining this just a little bit. Making sure that it's all blended in. Especially in those dark areas, because sometimes I forget because they're as dark as I want them to be. So I don't generally go back to them like I should and blend them in. Like I just leave them because I'm like, well, that's the color that I want it to be. I've seen all the tributes and for Australia on Instagram, and that's such a sad, sad thing. Oh my gosh, I couldn't even imagine what the people who live by there, what's going through their heads, you know? I mean, they're losing everything, and it's such a sad thing, especially in the world we live in that's sad already. So my prayers and thoughts go out to all of those families. Okay, so on the final stretch here, and you guys, if you guys have been with me for a while, you know that I don't ever use hard pressure when I'm coloring. Like this is just medium pressure to blend in some of those areas. Normally I use just light pressure all the time, and I think that's why I have to layer so much. I'm sure like if I went in and actually, you know, when I put down color, I use some pressure, I wouldn't have to do so much. But that's okay because I like this process. All right, so let me wipe that off. Oh, darn it. Let me go in real quick and get these underneaths. Oh, good. There's not that many. I thought it was across the whole tail, but it's not. I don't like this one right here. That makes me a little happier. Okay, so there is that part done. I actually want to add a little bit more green to this one. Okay, so then let's see. We're going to go ahead. We're going to finish this up tonight, and then we're going to call it quits. So let me sharpen my pencils. You guys know when you're using Prismas, the points on them do not last very long. And I try to remember to rotate my pencils, but I just kind of get in the groove of things. And yeah, sometimes it doesn't happen. Okay, so sorry if I bumped the camera. I actually touched the wire. Okay, so back in with this dark. Now they have a whole bunch of scales here, but like right in the center where the light line is, there's not a lot of scales, and I don't think that I'm going to put the scales in. I'm just going to color over them, and then we'll sparkle it up. So under where her skirt is here, I'm kind of making sure that I pull that shadow area out just a little bit, because her skirt over her little tail here is going to be pretty dark. Now right here, like where this round section is, I'm going to kind of take my dark and I'm going to bring it around, but leave a light area like that. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I want to leave that a little bit lighter. Again, like her shirt, I'm going to assume that it's just a little bit lighter. And of course, I'm still going to put a highlight and all of that stuff in, but I just want that section to be light. Okay, and I think that down here, where her tail meets her little fin, I shouldn't say tail, I mean, let's say her feet, where her feet are, that meets her tail fin here, I want to darken that up like it's a joint. Okay. So we're going to go up here by her legs and we're going to start adding in that second turquoise color. And I'm kind of, because Myka Jelina kind of left that light area there, I'm trying to be mindful of that and not muddy that up too much, because where she left it is actually a really nice place to get that little bit of an extra shine. And so if you're ever like, okay, I know I'm going to miss it, go ahead with like your lightest color and just roughly sketch that in. Just roughly, so this way you know, okay, don't touch that area. But if you're pretty mindful of that and you know that you're not going to mess it up, then just leave it and work around it. Okay, now I'm going to go in with my green. And right now it looks, you know, kind of funny. Now my green, I'm going to bring my green out over here. And then right around the edge, I'm going to do the green. So just that inside is going to be that super light color. Okay, so let's hit it back with this light color. And I might bring that green in a little bit more just to not make that so bright. But okay, so final home stretch here. Final call. Start darkening everything in. I think also that's why I do 2 layers. Because I do blend as I go. So then this way I don't have to come back in with Gamsol or a colorless blender or anything like that, because it would be the same for me. You know, if you guys pull out your colorless blender, that's fine, but you're still going over it twice. And so to me, that's why it doesn't bother me to do it in 2 layers, because if I was doing a method like that, I would still have to go over it twice. So I guess it's technically the same thing. Unless you go over it twice and then use a blending, then, well, that'd be fine too. I just tend to like taking some of the work out of it. You guys seen that? I turned my pencil. Yeah, I remembered. But I do find like when I do my second pass, like I put my colors in a little bit differently. Like I can kind of see then like, okay, nope, I didn't want that color there. I didn't want that there. So my colors always lay differently, but going from dark to light, then I can, especially like something like this, I can kind of bring my lights in and it won't muddy it up too much on me, as long as I don't need to go higher. And generally that's not the case. But when I'm looking at this, I know I want to kind of go in a little bit more on that green area. So I want to pull some of these aqua turquoisey colors down just a little bit more so that the green doesn't look like just a big old green blob. Okay, back to the green. And I think that I might even come back in here and do a little bit more of that aqua color, more than I already did. It's still looking a little big for me, but we'll see. Okay, so the last color. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go in with this light aqua. Just kind of clean that up just a little bit more to my liking. And I'm just kind of going around this, making it smaller as I go to make sure that that's what I want to do. And I'm just doing it like little sections at a time. So this way I don't shrink it down more than I really want it to be. Okay, that's looking a little bit more like what I envisioned. Clean that off. And I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but that's pretty much where I want it to be. Now this sharp edge here, I'm going to go in with that light aqua, and I'm just going to try to buff that out a little bit more to go in with that green. Okay, so yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that. So this is where we are going to end today, and we'll be back and we're going to work on some more. Thank you guys for joining me in this. If you like this video, please make sure that you give me a big thumbs up. Otherwise, thank you guys always for all of your support. I truly appreciate it. And until next time, I will see you all later. Bye.